Welcome back, everyone. This is another episode of Griot of the Diaspora. I'm your host, Nakaira G, and today we are talking to Nzali. You might have seen her already from a previous interview that we did last year, and we pretty much talked about the election that we were all anticipating that we are now dealing with right now, and just the experience of living in Ghana. And so we are here today because she made a big move, and I want to learn a little bit more about that move and why she did that. So Nzali, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Because one of the things that I think we didn't get to talk about in the last interview was the class system that Black Americans are automatically placed into once we come to Ghana.
Well, the first part is Ghanaian society is a very classist society, them on their own. They have a hierarchical system, whether it be by age, money, status, chieftaincy, whatever the case may be. So their system already comes with a certain level of classism embedded into the culture. Now, a part of that is Ghanaians who live abroad are now, for their family, the wealthy person in the family. Even if that person has a working class job in another country, people are seeing them as a person who made it because they live outside. So they are bumped into a higher class bracket when they go home automatically. By default, we are lumped the same way because you lived abroad, right? So you have access to resources abroad because you live there and your family is from there. And especially plus because you have generations of your people there. So you're in that class. Again, it's something that I don't think I'm not in the business of African Americans taking on responsibility for culture shifts that we don't control. So I can't speak to how we can shift the class dynamic per se, because we don't control their society. We're being grouped however they see fit to group us because of how they've set up their society and their culture. What I can say is just on a social level, people can adjust attitudes. Right? You can not act as a capitalist, elitist person in a country, right? That's something you can control. But how they perceive you, that I don't necessarily know if it should be our responsibility. I do believe that for people who are moving to Africa, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to work for yourself, just because most African countries don't have an immigration system that's set up to absorb workers. And so that's one of those things you have to accept if you're coming to Africa. Now, me, I was fortunate because I was in education. And typically, if you're a teacher, an administrator, you can work around the world. Somebody is going to hire you at their school. So I think that there are certain career pathways that do lead you to be able to do work in African countries. So if you're, let's say, like a UN worker, or for the embassy or some type of international development, something like that in education, yes. But other than that, like if you're a creative, and sometimes the creatives too, there are some creatives who have been able to make a good living being a creative. But 9 times out of 10, like if I was a federal government worker in DC, I'm not going to come and find that job in Ghana because somebody else already has that job in Ghana and they don't need to give it to you. And so I think that that's one of those things that we're just going to have to accept. Like, and again, every country isn't for everybody, right? And everybody isn't going to transition to an African country. So if you are looking to find employment in another country, I don't know if an African country is going to be the best unless you're in certain... go literally. Like I have some friends in the Middle East as well, and they're making good money teaching, tax-free money. So I just think like this goes into that preparation of choosing where you want to be wisely. Again, I just don't think it's our responsibility to try to shift how their culture. We can't do that. What I can do is be me, And I also feel like being in an African context, like that forced me to be an entrepreneur, because it's like, okay, I need to make more money. And I can't, the job I have here is okay, but I'm being paid in the local currency. And I want a little bit more because I want to be able to go and travel to another country. And I can't do that off the salary that I'm getting paid here. So what else can I do to make money? And so I just feel like it's a natural progression. And also I just feel like other immigrant groups in Ghana also are in business, but they don't spread themselves thin. They focus in on a market and they dominate that market, and they hire each other and they, do those type of things. So if we're looking at the future, I feel like we should get intentional about what markets we want to enter, what markets we can do well in. That way we can also make pathways for other people of us to come who may want to be workers, but there's something for them to come to. So I'll give this one example. There was a Lebanese lady that I used to edit her grad school papers for her. And basically her husband came as an apprentice to another Lebanese guy who owned a furniture shop. He worked for him for some years, and then he got his furniture shop. And then it was his job to train another Lebanese so that person would then get their furniture shop. They sold like office furniture to banks and all that kind of stuff. So it's like one was a business owner, one was a worker for that person.
I am Nail Egyptian, and I'm the owner of the Nail Egyptian Press-On Collection, and I'm originally from Compton, California. I started doing nails in high school, but I started doing press-on nails when I traveled to Ghana for the first time in 2013, which inspired me to make the Nail Egyptian Press-On Collection. The style and design behind every nail set is inspired by the queens and goddesses of ancient Africa. I love when my customers tell me they feel inspired and empowered when they wear the nails, and it makes me feel happy that I'm able to connect with people in my community and make them feel beautiful.
Other thing I'll say about African Americans in general when it comes to relocation, we do have to work together more, and we have to get out of this Damon Dash, I'm a boss mentality. I don't work for nobody else. That's the Black American. So now that's something we can control within our community. This ego of I don't want to work for another Black American because we all supposed to be balling here. And how am I balling if I'm working for you?
And the other way around, right?
Yeah.
A lot of, because I was in many conversations where Black Americans just didn't want to hire me simply because I was a Black American. They wanted to hire somebody that they can pay $50 to do a $1,000 job. You know, and that was actually what I really wanted to get into about, because I've been speaking to a lot of people, particularly under 40, because the experience of moving out of the country or moving to Ghana, particularly for those of us under 40, is a scramble, right? Because we're in an age
and nobody's talking about it.
And nobody's talking about it. And that's why I've been working on some content specifically for this age group.
Yeah, I will say, so I've had a personal experience with that when I first came to Ghana. There was a restaurant that I was managing. Now, I ain't never been in the restaurant management, but I've been in middle management, right? And I'm a people's person. So how I met this person, my business partner, Afia, and I used to throw a monthly social mixer. This is pre-COVID days. And this was one of the locations that we would throw our mixer. And so because we were bringing, we did movie premieres, all types of stuff at her place. And
purchase your tracks today.
Basically, once I started to manage the restaurant, I started to see where there were gaps, right? I started to see where someone was stealing money from her. I started to see those things. And I also started to see how she was underpaying, overworking, slave laboring the waitresses. The waitresses lived with her. They got up in the morning to sweep her house compound, then come and sweep the business compound, and they didn't have breaks. We didn't have a set closing time. So sometimes they could, if the last person left at 3 a.m, I would go home, but the waitresses had to be there till 3 a.m. for them to then have to get up at 6 and sweep her compound and clean her house. So because I was like, and I was doing something as simple as like, we have to have a rotation for the waiters. So who's the afternoon shift? Who's the evening shift? This is their break schedule. And she was just like, girl.
Purchase your tracks today.
And she let me go. And I was like, okay, because I mean, I don't know what you want me to do. And at that place, I was taking a regular pay. Like I wasn't taking an absorbent amount of money. Like I took a very humble Ghanaian salary, right? My thing was like, well, I need a place for my events. So yeah, I'll manage if I can throw all my events here because it was a nice spot. You know, you're not going to charge me for that. And so I think partnering with the right people is a part of it. And then also don't build a business based on the diaspora being your clientele. Don't build a consultancy business based on the diaspora being your clientele. And I think it's okay for your money to come from somewhere else, right? I'm okay with that because, again, a lot of our people have some unlearning to do as well. And so, and some of our people who are coming are exploiting, right? So they want cheap labor, and they look at you as like, you're not going to be cheap labor. And also sometimes I think it's a little bit of like, are you going to try to take over my business type of thing? And so I just say, if you can find some good partners to work with, do that. If you can't, it's okay to make your money somewhere else and just live in a place that has a cheaper cost of living. So you're like fast forwarding your retirement, basically. And I think that that's okay. I will say that it also is country specific. Ghana doesn't have a consultancy maintenance type of culture. So even for a Ghanaian business owner, it's going to be hard for you to talk them in to giving you money unless you put a big price tag on it and they can take a cut of that money for themselves and use the rest to do whatever they want to do. And it's not going to come out of pocket for them in some type of way. Prime example, let's say you want a government contract, right? That money is going to come from UNDP. All right. They know they're going to get $100,000 for this project that you're supposed to be paid. If you agree to pay them 20% of that, they'll be like, yes, contract consultant, here you go. And then use the rest for your payment and to do the program. So that's a part of it. So some countries are better with this than others. Like in South Africa, you can do some consultant work, right? Because there's a different type of system there. I know in Kenya, the UN's headquarters is moving here. That's going to open up some work for some people who have specialties, right? So if you have urban development experience, if you had like that type of stuff, they're going to be looking for contractors, right? And even if it's like they're contracting your company and you also have Kenyans a part of your company. So it really just depends. I just don't think that Ghana is in a space where like freelancing work is something that's valued. People are ready to pay for it. We're just not at that space. And that makes it difficult for younger people.
Nice. Okay, I know we got like 4 more minutes. So I feel like that is like the last question, but I'm gonna make a last question. So with this move to Kenya, what do you see for yourself? Like what exactly, not, to the T, but like what is your plan that may be a little bit different from what you were doing in Ghana or how you were moving in Ghana to now in Kenya?
So Kenya's move was all about, or is all about ease for me. So I'm just here to relax. I'm here to run my online business and take my walks in the morning and be able to have enough like energy to cook my dinner in the evening and like try recipes. So like on my YouTube channel, like with every video now, I'm like putting in a recipe that I'm trying and just having like more just ease. And so that's what this is about. I'm not here looking to, I don't want to say like, not that I'm not trying to be super impactful, but it's like, I'm not here to try to overdo. I'm just here to run my business, work with some good talent, have easy days. That's it. That's all. And so I think a big part of me being able to do that is having the virtual assistant business, because it's like, okay, especially getting more into the place where like I am not having to have all the clients myself, but I'm now extending it out. And so, yeah, that's the biggest part. And I don't know what else is coming after that, but for today, for now, ease, chill. And you know, the cool thing about Nairobi is like the weather is chill. They have lots of green space. So it's like, you can go and find a park here. Easy. You can go and touch some tree. Like right now, if I walk out the gate of this building, there are trees and flowers and bees and birds, and it just, you know, they have preserved a lot of their environment, like natural environment, even though it's in the city. And that's cool. Like Kenyans are not loud people. Like it's like, they just calm. You know, East Africa, I always have said this based off my interaction with East Africans and West Africans. East Africans are like a guitar. They're still impactful, still add something to the band, but it's easy, it's smooth. And West Africa is a drum. It's intense, it's powerful, it's transformative, it's the conjuring instrument, right? And a guitar is more the soothing instrument. And so at this phase of life, I just want to, I'm not saying soft life, but like soft life in a sense. Like I'm just trying to decorate my apartment, try recipes, run my business, you know, here and there, make some money. You know, I'm also looking at getting into investing to seeing more how my money can work for me without me working. So like that's the phase of life that I'm in. And so I think that it's fitting that I'm in East Africa to do that, because it supports that type of life.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. That is so good to hear. Well, thank you so much for doing this, because I've learned so much. You know, I'm definitely thinking about that East Africa journey for sure. Next time I come to the continent. So it is good to know that like Kenya is one of those places, because I took a year of Swahili. So I was like, wherever I go next, I want to go where I can speak Swahili. And so that would make the most sense right now.
And I would say this, Kenyans are not impressed by
America.
No,
yeah, for sure.
So that is lovely. Like, it's not like, oh, you foreigner. And the funny thing is like, they just be assuming that you're like Kenyan, and everybody talks to you in Swahili first. They don't assume that you're something else. So it's just kind of like, that also makes it easy, because it's not like people are expecting you to come and do something and all. No, they're like, oh, okay, welcome. And keep it moving. You know, so that's good. That helps you be able to just blend and live your life without all the extra pressure of what can you do? Are you starting a business? Are you doing? They don't care. They're just like, whatever. So that's cool.
And that's